The ick usually, from what I recall, is there'll be something that either the man or the woman will do where up to that point there's attraction, and there's literally something that they do that blocks that attraction. And it could be something that could remind you of, let's say, a woman's attracted to a man and all of a sudden he does something that reminds her of her dad. She can't get that out of her head. It's over. Right? It's like, and people can't understand. It's like, it was going so well. What happened? Well, the ick happened because you did something and inadvertently, but it just triggered something in the person's brain.
So I think that's my story. Usually the common denominator with me is I show up.
That's some men like to wear cardigans and ascots. Al.
I just do the cardigan. Yeah.
The ascot will be for later. So going back to the dating apps.
Yeah.
Look, it's a lot of people will be online and saying that this sucks. It's very different than how we grew up. I think we met people more organically. When we were meeting women in person, and you would see someone and like you'd be very attracted by the way that they looked. And then, as you were saying about eyes, right? But then you'd walk up to someone and see their smile for the first time, you're like, no. Yep. You hear their voice for the first time, you're like, no.
She's like, hello? And I was like, I can't do this. I was like,
did you inherit your voice from your grandfather?
Like, yeah. I was like, like someone smiles and I'm like, oh, the teeth are all stained and there's a gap, like there's a tooth missing. And I know people right now are thinking, oh, such an ass. Yeah. But again, it goes back to initial attraction.
Those kind of things will throw you off. He had what ended up being a nose ring, which was tiny on the outside, but the backing was in her nose. I know they don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And we were literally the whole night trying to figure out if
she had like a booger. Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And she was wondering while we were staring at her. We didn't want to say it, right? But it's like those kind of things will throw you off. Really long earlobes, and not because they had the rings in them and they were falling, but they were just really, and just not my thing.
But it goes back
one eye higher than the other. Not
the
my
Seinfeld
thing.
episode with the man hands.
Yeah.
Right? We all have these, we all have these things for whatever reason. You can call it a quirk, you can call it being super picky. When I think about the ick, I've always heard it referenced in terms of someone, the way they view their ex.
So this is us just,
hanging out, off season. Yeah.
Talking. Thank you all for joining us. We may post this, we may not.